You're training hard, eating clean, tracking your macros, and the belly fat is still there? Well, here's what no one is telling you. It's not just calories and cardio. It might be your hormones, specifically insulin and cortisol. These two hormones work together, keeping your body in fat storage mode. And today in this video, you're going to understand the role of each one in 3 parts, and I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can start taking action today in order to solve this problem for good. So part 1, what is cortisol and why it matters? So I don't want to overcomplicate, I just want you to understand something. Cortisol is a stress hormone, which is not necessarily bad. I'm not here to demonize cortisol. We need cortisol, okay? It's especially, for example, when you wake up, your body releases cortisol so that you're more alert, so that you wake up, it's normal. And then after a while, cortisol decreases. When you're working out, you do a strength training sessions or a HIIT class or any type of workout, your cortisol will increase. And then when you stop the workout, cortisol will decrease. So it's normal to cycle. So what you want is to understand when your cortisol spikes, when it decreases, and how to manage that effectively. And the problem that I see nowadays is that people have a lot of cortisol in their bodies because of numerous factors, such as stress, such as lack of sleep, such as lack of sunlight. These factors combine. And when I say stress, this can be a lot of stress. It can be financial stress, personal stress, can be professional, can be career, can be even workouts, so many things. So stress, your body doesn't distinguish the type of stress. So if you're working out excessively, or if you have a lot of stress, let's put it like this, it's still a stress on your body. One is physical, but both of them will have the same effect on your body, on your cortisol level. So you're gonna spike your cortisol levels. That's why one of the things that I always advise in order to manage your cortisol levels is to pay attention as well to your activity levels. Because I see this over and over. People are overtraining. They're doing a lot of cardio, running, cycling, HIIT classes, even excessive strength training like 5, 6, 7 days a week without resting, without proper recovery. This is crushing your testosterone levels. It's increasing as well your cortisol levels. And important to note as well, when you have high cortisol, your testosterone decreases. When you have higher testosterone, your cortisol decreases. So basically, high cortisol will lead to sugar cravings, lack of testosterone, poor sleep. You're gonna wake up tired, you're gonna feel bloated, even your face, bags under your eyes. You're gonna feel like always in this state of like survival, like even your digestion might not be the same. You might have trouble falling asleep, or maybe you can fall asleep easily, but then you wake up in the middle of the night and then you cannot fall asleep again. So these are all symptoms of a high cortisol, which is very, very common. So it's important to understand that even though cortisol is a normal hormone, it's natural, it's normal for you to have spikes in your cortisol. You need to understand how to decrease your cortisol levels and why it matters. So it's not just about putting in the reps in the gym, it's about understanding how you can manage your cortisol levels outside the gym. That's why I emphasize practices such as improving your sleep, such as deep breathing, such as sunlight, because all of these will decrease your cortisol levels. Important tip as well. Now that you have a brief understanding of what is cortisol, we're going to talk about part 2, which is what is insulin and what's the role of insulin in your body. So insulin is a storage hormone. What it means is that it moves glucose into the cells. And when you have high insulin, your cortisol levels will be higher as well, which will increase more fat accumulation, especially around the belly, which is what we call the visceral fat. And the 4 things that you need to understand here is that when your cortisol is high, your glucose levels are high, which will increase as well your insulin levels, which will therefore lead to fat accumulation, especially around the belly, which is what we call visceral fat. This visceral fat is extremely harmful because it increases the likelihood of you having metabolic diseases such as hypertension, high cholesterol, like stroke, heart attack. And these are things that don't happen from one day to another, but accumulate throughout months, throughout years, which is something that is accumulating over time, leading to inflammation, leading to brain fog, leading to lack of energy, and potentially leading to serious health issues such as stroke, such as heart attack. Now, of course, these things don't happen from one day to another. The symptoms that you start feeling with high cortisol and your insulin levels too high is maybe you're tired, maybe your sleep is not the same, maybe even libido, maybe your energy levels, maybe your gut, maybe you're bloated. These are signs that your body is inflamed that if you don't take action on this, potentially this will lead to, again, all these diseases that I mentioned. That's why it's important to address the root cause and not just reduce calories and start moving more, even though, of course, that's a main principle for fat loss, but you need to understand what's behind the scenes. How can you manage your cortisol levels? How can you manage your insulin levels? If you learn how to manage these hormones, and then, of course, with the right type of activity, the right type of workouts, the right type of nutrition, then, of course, your body will react accordingly. Which brings me here now to part 3. What are the main 5 habits that are increasing your cortisol? And there are a lot of habits that I could cover here. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to talk about the 5 most common mistakes that I see people committing that are increasing massively their cortisol level. So the number 1 is coffee straight upon waking up. As I mentioned before, when you wake up, your body is releasing cortisol. After maybe 60, 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, your cortisol levels start to decrease, okay, which is perfectly normal. But when you wake up, you release cortisol. So the huge mistake that I see is people, they wake up, they drink their coffee straight away, and they don't even hydrate. Okay, so it's super important that when you wake up, your cortisol is high. You don't need caffeine straight upon waking up. You wake up, you hydrate, 30 minutes, you drink like half a liter or even 1 liter of water. Personally, I put pink Himalayan salt with some drops of lemon. I mix it, I drink close to 1 liter, let's say 800 milliliters of water within the first 30 minutes of the day. I hydrate and I don't touch caffeine because I know that my body is naturally producing cortisol that keeps me awake. Okay, so it might be the ritual. You like the taste of the coffee, of the smell, but it's super important that you wait at least 60 minutes, ideally 90 minutes. You wake up, you hydrate, get some movement, and then let your cortisol naturally decrease, and then you can have your coffee within 60, 90 minutes or 2 hours. You have your coffee, and then you're going to spike again your cortisol like this. You're going to manage your energy better. You're not going to feel that energy crash that you have in the afternoon, and you're going to understand and you're going to make use of caffeine in a smart way. So combine within the first 90 minutes of the day, ideally combine hydration with some movement, maybe a 10 or 15-minute walk with some morning sun without sunglasses, so that you reset your circadian rhythm, you let your cortisol levels decrease naturally, and this sets you up for success. Also improving your all hormonal benefits such as your testosterone, such as your circadian rhythm, which will lead, of course, to better sleep. You're going to be tired at night, you're going to sleep better, produce more melatonin at night, improve your sleep, and everything will fall in place. So this is the number 1 mistake that I see. Now, number 2 is skipping breakfast or fasting too long. For a lot of clients, and even for myself, when I want to lean down a bit, I don't skip breakfast. So breakfast is basically a meal where you're going to break the fast. So it doesn't need to be straight upon waking up. So usually I have my breakfast overall. Okay, this is overall. If I wake up at 5 or 5:15 or 5:30, I have my breakfast 8:30 or 9. I don't have my breakfast straight upon waking up. I like to wait, like, let's say 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes if I'm fasting or if I want to lose a bit more fat or lean down, I go 5 or 6 hours, but I try not to go more than 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours is a good sweet spot. And again, it's a huge mistake that I see is people, they fast a lot. Okay, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting, I'm doing 1 meal a day, like, but then they're struggling with the belly, they don't see the results, or they're losing fat and they're losing muscle as well, and they don't get the results that they're looking for. So fasting is good, used strategically. If you fast excessively, you're increasing as well your cortisol levels. So it's important to understand when to do fasting, how you're going to do fasting, because if you're excessively doing fasting, like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 20-hour fast, you're increasing massively your cortisol. If you fast a little bit, like 3 to 4 hours in the morning, then the last 2 hours of the day, you're fasting, let's say, if you fast 14 hours to 16 hours per day, that's fine. You're not spiking massively your cortisol, even though, of course, it's good to alternate. Do, for example, a couple of weeks or some cycles of 16 hours, then shift to another cycle where you're going to do 12-hour fasting. You eat from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., for example. Try not to keep all the time the same so that your body like keeps readapting to a new stimuli. So this is the second mistake, which is excessive fasting. Which brings me here to the third point, which is overtraining. And even though I mentioned this one, I need to emphasize this one. Overtraining is crushing your testosterone. It's increasing your cortisol. And I know I'm saying this, but people will continue to prioritize workouts. It's super important to work out. I love working out, but you need to understand what's the minimal effective dose approach. Basically means what's the minimum that you can do to get the maximum results. Training 3 to 4 days a week for most people is optimal because it will allow your body to properly recover, to rest, to focus on sleep, focus on hydration, focus on steps, sunlight, and give your body time to rest, to build, because you're not building muscle or burning fat when you're in the gym. The gym is the stimuli, okay? So the gym is the stimuli. After the gym, when you're eating your protein, high quality meals, when you're managing your stress level, when you're getting sunlight, when you're sleeping, this is actually when your body is growing, your body is adapting. So if you're always working out like every day, like cardio, running, HIIT classes, even strength training 5 days a week, like your body is constantly like releasing cortisol, trying to grow, trying to adapt. And then when it starts to adapt and try to grow, then you're hitting again with another stimuli, and then another stimuli, and then another stimuli, so you don't let your body recover. So super important, focus more on what you're doing outside the gym. Train, for example, like I believe that 3 days is more than ideal for most people. 3 full body workouts, because probably people are not sleeping enough, or they're stressed, or their nutrition is compromised. Like I see this. People train 6 days a week and then they're eating crap. So try to like train 4 days or 3 days and try to meal prep. You're gonna get way better results by focusing on the nutrition and eating high quality food than focusing too much on the workouts. So yes, workouts are important. Train smart, don't overtrain, allow your body to recover. Don't do excessive cardio, because like this, you're gonna manage your cortisol levels, you're gonna keep your cortisol levels in check. They're going to be good, testosterone levels will be good, and you're not compromising recovery, you're not compromising adaptation, and you're going to start finally seeing the results that you're looking for. Which brings me here to point number 4, which is scrolling at night and poor sleep hygiene. So this is huge. Even though it's number 4, this should be the number 1. Sleep is crap nowadays. And again, I'm talking about sleep. People don't care about sleep overall. They care about supplements. If I make a post about supplements, people want to know the best supplements. They don't care about sleep. Sleep is the number 1 thing that you should be focusing, and I see this a lot. Some of my clients, when they start, even they are going to bed at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or they are scrolling or lights on or eating massive meals before bed. So this is huge. It's super important. Your fat burning, your muscle building, your health optimization starts at night. Starts like at 7 p.m. Okay, so don't eat 2 or 3 hours before bed. Ideally, 2 hours, sweet spot. Don't eat the last 2 hours. Then 1 hour before bed, try to not to be on the phone, try to dim the lights, get some red lights. I actually now got red light for my room, game changer. Get some blue light blocking glasses. Don't drink before bed, even cut liquids before bed, like don't drink a lot of water before bed so that you don't disrupt your sleep. So there are so many things that you can do with sleep, and this is the number 1 thing that will improve all your hormones. It will improve your insulin sensitivity, it will improve your testosterone, it will decrease your cortisol if you take control of the last 2 hours of the day. Starting at night as well. As you see, everything is related. Get morning sunlight, circadian rhythm benefits. At night, you're going to be more tired. Working out in the morning is huge as well, because it's going to make you tired and more relaxed at night. Avoid screens, blue light blocking glasses. So super important to nail your sleep. And again, it's a huge mistake that I see. Which brings me here to the last point, which is the number 5, which is under eating all day and then overeating at night. So when you're doing fasting, for example, which brings me here to the fasting point, sometimes you're not eating enough throughout the day and then you eat a lot at night, and this will compromise your sleep. So it's important to spread the meals across 8 or 10 hours in the day so that you don't overeat at night, because this will interfere with your digestion, it will interfere with your ability to sleep properly, to have restorative sleep. If you go to bed full, if you have massive meals at night, first, you might not get your protein, your daily protein intake. Second, you're compromising your REM sleep and your deep sleep, which are the restorative phases of your sleep that will actually make you like lose fat, build muscle, and even restore all your bodily functions, your cognitive capacity, everything. So don't eat the last 2 hours of the day, and don't leave heavy meals to later in the day as well. So what I usually like to do is, in terms of meal timing, you start the day mostly with protein and fats. You don't eat carbs in the morning, and you leave carbs to later in the day. Why? Carbs will improve your sleep. And I don't want to go here in detail, but not a massive meal, of course, but if you have protein and fats early in the day, you're going to be in that fat burning zone, fuel status, because then you're going to be you're going to be working, you're going to be focused, you're going to be maybe seated or performing tasks, and you need to be paying attention. So if you have a lot of carbs in the morning, you're going to crash your energy, you're going to feel like lethargic, you don't feel like working, you're going to feel less energy. So you don't want that. You want like either little fasting or protein and fats mostly. And then you leave the carbs to later, because when you eat carbs, you release serotonin, which is a hormone that basically will make you relaxed. You want this at night, right? So that's why, in terms of framework, what I do for myself and for my clients is mostly protein and fats in the morning, in the evening before bed, 2 to 3 hours before bed, mostly protein and carbs. And as promised, we reach here the bonus section, which are 5 ways to lower cortisol and reset your body starting from today. Number 1, hydrate. First thing, get morning sun. Don't touch caffeine the first 90 minutes of the day. Let your cortisol decrease. When it decreases, then you get your coffee. So no coffee the first 90 minutes of the day. Number 2, high protein, moderate fat, low carb breakfast within 2 or 3 hours upon waking up. Of course, this is not personalized advice according to you, because I don't know your stage, your schedule, anything, but don't do a 6 or 7 hour fasting all the time. Don't eat straight upon waking up either. So ideally 2 to 3 hours, high protein, moderate fat, low carb. Number 3, lift weights and do zone 2 cardio, preferably in the morning in a fasted state. I'm a big fan of this. It will increase your cortisol, it will increase your growth hormone, testosterone levels, if done properly. So don't overdo this, of course, but it sets a tone for the day. You get that endorphins, you get like that mood boost. It's going to impact the food choices as well, what you're going to be eating that day. You're going to feel way better, more relaxed at night, more accomplished. You don't leave the workout later on when you're like stressed, maybe 5 or 6 p.m. The gym is full, you're tired, you're stressed, you don't feel like going to the gym. So just do it first thing in the morning. If it's important for you, get it done first thing in the morning. You're going to burn fat, you're going to feel lean, you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel great. So 3 strength training sessions per week, 3 to 4 strength training sessions, 1 or 2 days you can do your zone 2 cardio. If you love running, if you love your cardio activity, do it maybe once or twice a week, but don't overdo excessive cardio. Keep it light, zone 2 cardio, 60 to 70% of your heart rate maximum is a good sweet spot that will make you burn fat without raising your cortisol levels. Which brings me here to number 4, which is bedtime. Make sure that after 9 p.m. you use your blue light blocking glasses. Don't be on your phone, on a TV, like switch off the screens, read a book, drink a chamomile tea or a peppermint tea. I personally have been doing that over the last couple of months, which is drink a chamomile tea or peppermint tea. It helps me with digestion. I add a bit of magnesium glycinate as well. This has been a game changer for me. It helps me really relax and wind down. So peppermint tea or a chamomile tea before bed, let it cool, a bit of magnesium, mix it up and drink it before bed with your blue light blocking glasses, with the red light. This will improve your sleep. And a bonus tip here for you to manage your insulin levels and your cortisol levels is to walk after meals. This is huge. It's a game changer. It helps you get more steps. It decreases your glucose levels as well after the meals and facilitates gastric emptying. What it means is that it improves your digestion. So if I could give you one advice for you to lose fat, for you to lose belly fat, for you to improve, of course there are so many things that you could do, but number one thing would be to walk after meals. This is super, super important. As long as you know what you're eating, of course it's not eat a bunch of crap and then you go for a 10-minute walk and you'll solve all your problems. All of these factors need to be dialed in, but make sure that you get a 10 to 15 minute walk after the meals, especially after eating carbs, so that you decrease your glucose levels. It will improve your sleep as well. So if you're having 3 meals, try to get a 10-minute walk after every meal. This will improve your hormones, digestion, and everything will fall in place. And if you want more insights on how to burn belly fat and fix insulin resistance, then you can check this video right here, where I dive in detail about strategies on how you can fix that, strategies as well that you can start implementing today. So I really believe this one can be really, really helpful for you. And guys, that's it what I have for today. I hope this was useful for you. And by the way, if you got any value from this or if you want any help, feel free to apply here for coaching. That's what I'm doing basically with my clients over 40, 45, guys that are reversing diabetes, hypertension, fatty liver with the system that we have in place without any guesswork. I'll tell you exactly what you should be doing to solve your problem for good. So if that is you, if you need any help, feel free. The link is down below in the description. In the meantime, leave your comments down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you very soon. Let's go.